everybody, Matt here, back again with another video for you. Today we're going to be taking a look at Black Sabbath's 9th album, Heaven and Hell. It was the first album that the group recorded with their new lead singer, Ronnie James Dio. It was released on the 25th of April in the year 1980. It was produced by a guy by the name of Martin Birch, who had worked with Dio previously. He would also help Black Sabbath record the Mob Rules. The reason that Dio was brought in was a couple reasons. Number one, the band was getting tired of Ozzy's craziness and just general insanity and wrecking stuff, and Ozzy was upset with the direction the band was going. He didn't particularly like Never Say Die or Technical Ecstasy. Ozzy apparently did, however, create a demo for Children of the Sea. Ronnie James Dio was actually introduced to Tony Iommi by Sharon Osbourne, of all people, and they had talked previously about creating a new band. They were both kind of in dire straits with the groups that they were in, and they wanted to do something different. As luck would have it, they met one day at the Rainbow in California, and they started talking, and that was pretty much how the friendship really started up. They met for a jam session and actually ended up finishing writing Children of the Sea. And that was kind of how Tony Iommi knew this is going to work. It wasn't just Ozzy that was having issues in Black Sabbath either. Bill Ward and Geezer Butler were both having issues as well. Bill had actually just lost both of his parents and was struggling with his alcoholism. In fact, one day during the tour for this particular album, they got a call from Bill Ward and he just said, "I'm out." And they're like, "Okay, where are you?" And he's like, no, I'm at the airport right now. I can't do this anymore. And so then they brought in another drummer who would stay with them from then on. Like I said, Geezer was going through his own stuff too. He was actually going through a divorce at the time. And so what they did was, during some of the early demos, Ronnie James Dio actually played bass. And then what they did was Dio brought in his bass player from the band Elf, and he actually helped write most of the songs on this particular album. He pretty much recorded the whole thing. When Geezer came back, Geezer re-recorded all the parts, and even though that guy is not credited on this particular album, he still received some financial compensation, so good for him. Iommi said that he really enjoyed the way Ronnie James Dio sung with Sabbath. I mean, it was obviously different than what Ozzy did, but what Ozzy did he said he would sing with the riff. And you kind of hear that in the early Sabbath. He sings very much on rhythm. And what Ronnie James Dio did was he kind of sung above the music. He sung in his kind of own melodies and you know, used his voice as his own instrument. And Iommi said that opened up a lot of doors for him musically, writing-wise, with this new version of Sabbath. The album cover is based on an old photograph of college performers dressed as angels backstage smoking cigarettes. And that particular cover was painted by Lynn Curley, and then the back cover was done by Harry Carmine. The album was successful, but whenever you make a big singer switch, especially from Ozzy to Dio, you're going to run into some fan opposition, and they did. And there's still some people that don't quite consider this, you know, true Black Sabbath. And for a long time, I didn't consider it either. I mean, I kind of avoided the Dio era Sabbath like the plague, and then I got a copy of the heavy metal soundtrack, heard the Mob Rules, and I thought, okay, this is actually pretty awesome. And so then I seeked it out, and I was really impressed by it. I was blown away. I really, really like this album. It doesn't sound like Sabbath. It's just a new era of them, you know? And they chose to call it Sabbath, so it's Sabbath. Really, the only argument you can make is whether you like it or you don't. If you don't like it, that's fine. And it's so weird. I know people that love Sabbath, they love Dio, but they don't love Sabbath Dio. I don't know if they felt betrayed or what, but I really think it's really cool. I love Neon Nights. I love the title track off this album. I think it's really, really good. Probably one of my favorite versions of it, and again, I'll provide a link in the description below, is there was a show, I believe in '95, where Black Sabbath was going to open for Ozzy Osbourne for his quote-unquote farewell tour. And what happened was Dio didn't want to do it. And so the rest of the guys in Sabbath did want to do it. So they got Rob Halford of Judas Priest to step in and sing at that concert. And it's incredible. It's so cool because it's like his voice was so well suited for the Heaven and Hell stuff. The Ozzy stuff, yeah, it's okay, but the Heaven and Hell track that he does, and that's the link I'm going to post, is really, really, really good. And you know, I wish they would have professionally recorded it, because all I can find are like really bad, you know, shaky videos of it, but it's still cool to see. You get an idea. But yeah, Rob Halford singing Heaven and Hell, probably my favorite version of that particular song. I really like this album. I think it's great. Even if you're somebody who's kind of, maybe you still are, from the 80s even, that's like, no, it's not Sabbath. Well, don't consider it Sabbath then, but you can still enjoy it. My dog moved the camera. It's on a tripod too. Indy, how did you do that? Come here. Come here, honey. Come here. Oh, you haven't seen this guy in a while. Oh, here he is. Did you move the camera? He's sorry. He didn't mean to. So, that is all I have to say about Black Sabbath's Heaven and Hell album. I will see you guys next time.